Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
What is a proper approach to the immigration reform debate? Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. We're going to be talking about this today on Faith and Freedom. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, of course, politicians as well as the media are talking quite frequently about immigration reform. That's been a big topic ever since the 2012 election. It looks like something is moving in Washington, D.C. Whether something will be passed, we don't know. But it's been a controversial issue for a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of misinformation with regards to immigration issues by a lot of sources. And so some of the debate has been political, some of it has been histrionic, and we need to have a rational, reasonable, and biblical dialogue over the issue of immigration.
Yeah, this is a touchy subject. You know, we have to find the proper balance between respect for the rule of law, which is imperative. And we see right now a nation that, and leaders in Congress and certainly in the Oval Office that don't respect the rule of law. And balancing that with if we're Christians and we believe what we believe and believe the words of Christ and what he teaches, how do we balance a respect for the rule of law with Christian compassion? You know, that moniker, what would Jesus do? You know, what would Jesus do here in this issue? And I think that's what we need to be striving for as Christians, is try to find that balance. What would Jesus do in a situation like this? Do we bust, you know, the millions of immigrants who are here illegally, put them on a bus and send them back to Mexico? That's not even logistically possible. So what is the balance? That's the question.
Yeah, I think you look at the two bookends from a biblical standpoint, and I think that lays our foundation. You obviously, on the one side, you have Leviticus 19, and you have other places in the Scripture where it says to be compassionate and respect the dignity of the alien that's in your midst, the immigrant that's in your midst, the alien that is not one of your citizens. Why? Because it says, because you also were aliens in a foreign land. Speaking of the Israelites being aliens in Egypt, and so therefore they should have been respected. Whether they were or not, that's a different story. But obviously, that's the foundational premise. Respect the alien within your midst. On the other hand, you have Romans 13. The government is set up to punish the evildoer and to protect the good. It's set up to protect law and order. So you have law, the rule of law that we respect, and you also have this compassion that the Scriptures speak about. Now, within immigration, there's really three different components that I think that we can talk about. The two first components are easy to dispose of. There's the three legs of immigration: border security and enforcement of the laws. Virtually everyone that I know of on both sides of the issue are in favor of supporting the enforcement of the border, to secure the border. That is a matter of national security. We cannot have porous borders. We oftentimes think of the border along the south, around Mexico, being the major border of the port of entry. But frankly, the border in the north is even more insecure than the border in the south. You remember the people that came in or attempted to come in that were going to be terrorists against the United States? Did they come in from the south or the north? They came in from the north, from Canada. They were caught at the checkpoint. But there's a lot of these unmanned checkpoints where people can just go back and forth across the north. Border security is a fundamental issue. We've got to support it, and we've got to protect our borders. The question is how? Well, that's a debate in terms of whether you put up electronic fences or military or build a wall, but everyone agrees you got to enforce the security of those borders. You have to enforce the laws as well.
Yeah.
We have laws with regards to employing illegal immigrants or aliens. We've got to enforce those laws.
Absolutely.
We can't just simply ignore them. We can't just put a slap on the wrist. We've got to be able to enforce those laws.
The immigrants, the illegal immigrants, on their behalf as well, because they're being abused.
That's
they're
right.
being treated as second-class citizens. And
when we don't enforce the laws, it allows employers to break the law, and it allows the employers to abuse the people that are employed, because they'll abuse them, and they know they won't say anything, because if they do, they'll get deported.
A couple things. I want to play devil's advocate here, Matt. because you've really been at the forefront, and I think, in fact, I took more of a hard line for a long time on the immigration issue, and I have become persuaded by many of your thoughts on this matter that there is a balanced approach. What do you say to people who say, yeah, you cited Scripture, we respect the alien in our midst? What do you say to those who say, but what about when the alien in your midst is not respecting your own laws and is there illegally? That's the first question I would ask. Playing devil's advocate here, how do you answer that?
Well, that gets us to the third area, the third leg. What do we do with those that are undocumented, illegal here in the United States right now? There's roughly 12 million, 10 to 12 million people. We don't know exactly the number, but that's generally what it is. But there's all different kinds of categories of those. Let's take the category of these individuals that are just, that have intentionally come here.
Yeah.
Because there's other people that have come here legally and they've overstayed their visa.
Yeah.
And they're here illegally. The famous, the visible one was the young girl who came over with her family to Ohio from a Muslim family for medical treatment. She became a Christian, and then the family allegedly wanted to do harm. That was Rivka Berry, wanted to do harm to her. Yeah. And she almost got deported back to the place where now she would have ultimately been killed because of her Christian views. So there are people like that, and there's other people who have come over illegally. The problem is that we've had on the border a welcome sign and a no trespassing sign at the same time.
Yeah.
We've had the speed limit on the interstate that actually says 55, but we blink and we don't do anything even though everyone's going 75. Mm-hmm. But we've had the cameras there the whole time, and we've allowed it for 20 years. We've lulled people into sleep that we're not going to enforce these laws. And so consequently, now, after 20 years, we have all the cameras of people going 75, and we're going to give them the ticket.
What do we do now?
Now we're going to enforce it. We should have been enforcing laws all along, and we wouldn't have gotten to this point. We've had situations where, say, a spouse has come over with a husband because the husband is coming because of the bad situations wherever they are. And what is she going to do? Break up the family?
Yeah.
She's coming over. We've got situations where the young child has come over, born over in another country, had no choice. He's here. Now he's 18, wants to go to college, but is still illegal. What we have to do with those individuals is, first of all, those people who have committed violent crimes, we have to deport them.
Yeah.
There's no reason to keep them in our jails. We need to deport them. But then that gives us the bulk of the people that are still here. What do we do with those? Well, we have three options. We can either deport them all, or we can give them all amnesty, or we can have a middle ground, give them an opportunity or a choice. Even if you wanted to deport them all, you physically can't do it. You can't put all of them on a bus and deport them. You'd have the Elian Gonzalez stories played out on the news day after day after day.
It's impossible.
Wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. And you're going to be breaking up families. You're going to be sending mom and dad back who are not citizens, but the children who are citizens that were born here, they're going to be separated. You can't give them amnesty because that just flouts one of those bookends, the rule of law. You can't just say, you're forgiven, sorry, we made a mistake, everything's cleared on the deck. I think you have to have, and the only logical way to do it is a middle ground. Give them a choice for some kind of legal status. Now that choice, if they choose it, would require some kind of penalty. It would, for breaking
for the initial law breaking.
That's right. But give them a choice.
So it's not
penalty.
Amnesty.
No, it's not amnesty. I'm opposed to amnesty. But you give them a choice. There's a penalty that they have to pay. They go to the back of the line. They go through the process. They go through the immigration process. They learn about American values as part of that, and they become either legal as a temporary worker or somewhere on a path toward citizenship. That is not amnesty. I can tell you what, doing nothing right now is de facto amnesty.
Yeah.
Doing nothing is de facto amnesty.
Well, absolutely, and as you point out, it is logistically impossible to have mass deportation. It just cannot be carried out.
No, if you do the math, say do 12 million, for example, how many people would you have to put on a bus? How many miles would the buses be every single day for a period of 2 years? I mean, it's just physically impossible to do.
How many families would you break up?
And we've got to, while we're addressing the people who are here that are undocumented, we've also at the same time got to secure the border and enforce the laws. Yeah. Because if we do only the focus on those that are here and not the border and the laws, we're going to get right back to where we are now. We've got to do all three. It's got to be done. I think it's important to our security. It's important to who we are as Americans and who we are as Christians, that we move forward in a reasonable, rational manner to address this immigration issue. For more information on religious liberties, the sanctity of the family, the human life protections, go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org. You can ask for our resources right there online. We have the book, Take Back America. It's time that these values that make America great, we stand for them and we fight for them. Ask for the book, Take Back America. You can order that book right now at lc.org.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.